Who's there?
Hello.
Hey, okie dokie, we're in.
Goodness gracious, Ignatius. Miracles.
Oh, do you know what the other good thing is? We actually, I can hear you on the live on the actual YouTube thing. There's a massive delay, but I can hear you.
I can hear you, obviously, and I can hear an echo come back at me about 15 seconds later. Yes, that must
Yeah.
be me, I guess.
No, I think it's both of us, but it doesn't matter because that's what everybody else is going to hear.
Okay, so as long as we don't hear it, that's fine.
Exactly.
Because they'll be
Now the
froze.
question is,
Yeah.
let's see if we can switch screens.
Okay, James has got us. Cool. Yep, switch screens. How do we do that?
Okay. Okay, now, can you share screen? You see your left-hand side? The green thing on the left?
Yeah, I've pressed all the buttons that I think I need to press.
Yeah, gotcha, mate. That was it.
That's it?
Yep,
Okay.
we're in. Okay,
Happy
well,
days.
let's briefly talk footsie.
Right, mate, what's going on with the footsie?
Well, the footsie, right, so I'm looking for a breakout. I'm looking for a breakout above these levels here, but the question
Do you want
is...
to take screen?
Oh, yeah, sure. So, let's do this. Oh, this is great, mate. Well, we've got the first part of this done.
Can we repeat it tomorrow?
Well, that's going to be the test, isn't it? Right, so I'm looking for a breakout above here, but I am going to look for a little bit of downside first. Now, the question for me is going to be where I get in, and I think it's going to maybe, that would be of interest, and it would definitely be of interest if it runs in maybe a bit closer to here. So I'm keen to get in where I can, but in fact, there's a pivot just at 301. What I might do is wait for the test of the pivot, which is around about 301. And I'll either get in which if I change screens to an hourly, that's going to hold that trend. Or I'll get in down here, but I might start here, might start at this point here. The problem is if this just goes, I can't do anything about it. But there's definitely been some decent numbers from China. I'm a little bit slightly still just getting used to this setup, because what I really need is one more screen. I've got 3, but I could do one more, so I could get rid of this Google. Actually, I should be able to get rid of that, shouldn't I? Yeah, I could still do with another
Yeah, I'm in the
screen.
same boat. I'm trying to toggle around here and I can't see charts at the moment.
I mean, you can minimize the screen, the Google screen. I've just minimized mine, and it hasn't affected your view, is it?
Okay, yeah, that's all good.
Yeah, so you can minimize it. But currently, my space equity is looking at 3 charts on one screen. This is the broadcast screen, so it needs to be kind of big. Unless what I could do actually what I might do is this. Just don't want anybody seeing what I'm doing down there. Yeah, let's do it that way, because at least that way Right, so I need my level. My level is going to be 303. So I need this. I need this. I think that's the price. But the issue is if this just breaks out without me, I'm just going to have to let it go. But the amount of times I tried to get into this yesterday was crazy. I got another trade last night. This one here, I got another trade, took some profit. No, it wasn't that one. It would have been, that was the refusal, I think. It was this here, and I got a little bit off, put a stop at break even, and it just took me out again. But just not been able to get in anything and holding it. It's just been really difficult. But this FTSE is primed. Now you see this pattern here. Are you still in the room, mate?
Mate, I am. Yes, I'm trying to sort out my tech
Okay.
situation. Yep.
All right.
Sorry.
All right. Yeah.
I'm absolutely. I just can't join in at the moment.
No, that's okay. That's all right, mate. No problem. No problem.
So you're saying you're ready to go. What's turning you on here, mate?
Well, this is the problem, is that if this breaks out without me, because I need it, I need a half decent price, and my price is
Okay,
really.
You didn't get the price. Yep.
No, I haven't got the price. I mean, this would have been okay, not ideal. Would have been down there, and I probably could have traded that and given it a blast. But I kind of need this price just to fail one more time, and then give me an entry. But I just think this is primed, and it's been in this range now for around about 2 weeks. So when it goes, I think it's just going to take off, because I think there's going to be a lot of people that are still having stops in these areas up here. So it gets through 73.25 and it's going to go. So I want to get in at the lowest possible price, but I've got a feeling the way this is looking, I'm going to miss it. There's
just be hopeful, mate.
Yeah, well, I've got to be patient. I can't go against what I'm looking for, really. I probably could have justified. Yeah, probably could have justified that. Problem was yesterday's the end of yesterday was this. And it's very difficult when the new day comes in, because while we're reading TA and you get these bits of information from the bars, yesterday's bar doesn't usually give us the information we need, because this was looking fairly negative. It was a little close under that particular level, but that's not particularly serious. But that was suggesting that maybe we get just a little bit more downside. I would have entered here and I would have entered here, but that price. I haven't had a test of the daily pivot, so I've just got to be hoping. See, this is going to go.
Shame.
Yeah. Which means I've got to wait for it to come back.
What put you in that frame of mind, mate? Why today why is today breakout day, do you think?
Well, it could have been yesterday. But yesterday it just wasn't able to kind of get through that final little bit yesterday. But because it wasn't yesterday, then I've got to look at today. It's just that the trade tensions and the trade wars that are going on just don't seem to be they don't seem to be passing through into the market.
The market's not in sync with that, is it?
No, I mean the Aussie's up, the Chinese stock market's up. There's just and this is it. Look at this go. This is going to explode. 2 more pips and this is going to go. Because it needs to get through this 73.23, and I suspect this probably stops at 73.25. But yesterday I had positions, but I just wasn't able to hold, and there it goes. Damn it. Oh well. Well, there's nothing I can do about that now. I've just got to wait and see if it comes back. That's unfortunately a missed opportunity the way it's looking right now.
So why was the price that you wanted the price that you needed to get in?
Because because the pivot, there's a pivot. If you have a look on your FTSE chart, there's a pivot at 30.
Support, right?
Yeah, pivot support at 73.01. It also would have given us the lower line here for that hourly. but now I look at it, that 73.05 where it opened probably would have been just about valid, because there's, you know, that's what I was talking to you about yesterday about trading the retracement of the reversal bar. That
Yeah,
would have
yeah.
qualified. So so yeah, there was an opportunity there, and I think we might
There
have a
might, mate.
okay.
There'll be another one.
Yeah, the problem with the FTSE is that when we look at it, you know, on longer term time frames, it's been down in this range for quite a while, and this potential explosion here, if it
Yeah, it
goes
could be
without
big.
coming back, yeah, it's going to be 100 pips. And these trades happen every so often, and it's not easy to grab them. But when you grab them, my goodness, they just absolutely, you know, they don't come back, or the trend is so strong by the time that you've got a chance to try and get in, the you're only trading on 5-minute charts. You know, you've got to trade on 5-minute trends, because the hourly starts to become oversold and embedded pretty quickly, so you can't really do anything about that. So yeah, this if this goes straight away without any return, then I don't think we're going to see it come back, and I think it's going to go 100 pips on 5-minute trends, possibly 15-minute trends, but it's going to be 5-minute trends today, I think.
Okay, well, let's wait and see. All is not lost until it's lost. So
No. So what are you looking at, mate?
mate, with the euro today, I see. Just hang on a second. I'll see if I can get this tool back. Da, 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 da. Okay, just let me know when you can see my screen.
I can see the screen. Yep.
Okay, wonderful. So we've got the euro up. I'm looking at the 4-hour chart at the moment, and as you can see from this, we've been sitting pretty much like you. I should have turned my Skype up, shouldn't I? I'll do that when I next come back. We've been sitting in a range for a little bit now, around about this area, between around 115.30, 115.40, and 117. And looks like we're having another crack at the top of this coming up, but I'm not so sure that's going to happen. And the reason I say that is, how many times has this got to knock its head before it actually turns around? I'm actually looking for a lower high here, and if I get that, I think we could be in with a chance here to trade a short on the reversal. Not necessarily a reversal of trend, but maybe just a reversal of momentum, and that momentum would be trading from bottom to top. Didn't get to the bottom this time. So it looks a little bit like it wants to go into trend, but the double top here is giving me the indication that we may have a change in momentum and go back to the maybe the bottom of this range. So looking for that lower high. If it doesn't come, I may well be like you, and this may well break out. But if it breaks out from here, there's no way I'll be trading it. That's the 4-hour chart, of course. I'd like to see something a little bit more than I've got here in terms of a bull entry. As far as the short entry is concerned, I've got to see that lower high first. That may come on a smaller time frame, of course. But at this point in time, this looks like it wants to go, and maybe test these levels up here. That there's another level here that I can see, maybe through there. So it's around about the figure 117. So that could be interesting as well. Anywhere there that this lower high comes, happy days. I'll be looking to jump into that short. But at this point in time, I don't see that. And really, that's all I've got in terms of the euro at the moment, except to say that there's a very pronounced head and shoulder here. And if I put this line through here,
Yeah.
pretty compelling. Pretty compelling that we've come to this, what now is going to be a confluence area, those lines I've just put into the chart. So this is giving me very, very well, confirmation, I suppose. I'm getting, if this does give me the lower high, I'm getting confirmation that this could turn around and go short. So that's pretty much everything changes. In particular, if this range is broken, like you and the FTSE, this may well be gone. But it's not what I'm looking for anyway. Not from this area. I'm looking to trade that lower high and trade it short. So we'll keep our eye on that, of course. That's the weekly chart. So we're going to trade the weekly chart today. All of those lines that I've just put on the chart here are now showing you that there's a pretty strong resistance area here, and it's also the top of the recent range. But that said, if you have a look at this daily chart,
that's the weekly, is it?
Here. No, this is the daily chart now.
That's the daily.
So the daily chart's giving me an inverted head and shoulders. So it's very, very interesting when you have a look at this one, the weekly chart, where we've got a head and shoulders. We switch it to the daily chart and we've got an inverted head and shoulders. So it's a little bit crazy. And this neckline, I suppose, is currently where we're at. So if we actually break that and then maybe come back and retest it, there might be an entry long here. On balance, I think I've just got to go with trading off the support and resistance areas at the moment.
Yeah, that's a really that daily chart's a really interesting one, isn't it? Because there's actually a potential. There's two hints that we are at a reversal there. Are you still showing your screen?
I haven't stopped yet.
Oh, okay, all right. Maybe I don't know why that's coming back to me.
Get rid of all this mess here so we can see it clearly.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, why does it keep coming back to me? There we go.
I have no idea.
That's okay, mate. I gotcha. So yeah, there's two. Well, there's three, isn't there? Firstly, that's what looks like an engulfing bar, 4 bars back. I know we then got a pretty strong piercing pattern, but there's a strong engulfing bar at resistance. There's that spinning top that does look like a I suppose it's an ATW high test bar, but it, maybe even a tweezer top up there. There's that is a pretty clear indication that there's some potential resistance up there. So
yeah, and if you don't believe that, then there it is.
Yeah, and the other thing about that one, yeah, absolutely. Well, this is it, and also because you said about the head and shoulders pattern that has formed on that, there is a possibility that actually trading below the low of that the second tweezer top candle, the spinning top, might actually be. That would be what I would want to look for. I'd want to look for it to come back, get under that that spinning top, and then I'd probably be looking for some downside, because that there is the inverted head and shoulders, but it's right on the neckline, isn't it?
Yes, it is right in the neckline at that resistance level. That's pretty much what I'm looking to play, but I'm looking to play it on a smaller time frame, and I'm looking to play it today rather than the daily candle, if you like.
Yeah.
So see the intraday bars here are very, very indecisive, and I want to see some decisiveness come in and then give me something indecisive, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I actually want to see a move first and then a reversal.
Yeah.
So I'm actually, this candle looks good on the 4-hour chart. If the next one's a reversal bar and gives me that indication that I am getting that lower high, then I think that's probably the way I want to go today.
Yeah, I see that.
But look, longer term, it's not as clear as you might think. The daily's giving us one thing, and the weekly's giving us, completely something different. So, in terms of surety, that's a little bit off the rails. I think I'd be trading this at, reduced risk if I do find the trade. I don't know that there's a whole lot of confidence here, but I do like the resistance that we're at, and intraday wise, I think I'd like to be trading it short.
Yeah, I see that. Well,
Mate, Cable and the Aussie. Sorry, have you got something else to go?
no, only that the FTSE has managed to halt a little bit, so I'm hopeful that it's going to come back and give me an entry. Let me just quickly show you what
Sure.
I'd look for here. I probably won't mess about too much. You know, anything around about this area, I'm going to take an entry, and I'm not going to wait for a reversal pattern or anything like that. I'm just going to take my entry because I think this is going to go, and I'm not going to speculate.
I
If
think you're still on my screen, mate, but I could be
Oh,
wrong.
are we on? Okay, let me just double check.
Oh no, I can see you.
Yeah,
No, I can
yeah.
see your screen. We're
Okay,
okay.
great. So yeah, so I'm going to try and enter around about this 73.25, between 25 and 23. It's currently at 73.29. So I won't wait for reversal. I will just see if it comes back, and if it comes back to that point, I'll enter. If it comes back further, I'm going to enter again. If it comes back further, I'm going to enter again. So effectively, I'm not going to you know, my belief this is going up, and I don't want an expensive price. And but my other belief is that I'm already having to pay probably premium for this trade. But I believe in the trade, and I'm going to enter where I can. So as I say, if it comes back just another 5 pips, I'm just going to take an entry and not concern myself with any setups. And the reason for that is, you know, it's not that I'm being mindfully irresponsible, but my belief is that that the reason for that is that I've done the work on this for days, and you know, my primary belief is that we are going, and if this goes, to get another opportunity is going to be very, very tough. So I'm going to enter, and you know what it comes down to is this weekly chart. You know, when I kind of look at this weekly chart here, what I'm after is a breakout of this. You know, the last week's bar. That's what I'm really trading. I'm not trading these intraday patterns, even though that's where I'm going to get my entry from. I'm really trading on last week's bar. So if I can get something that just comes back just a little further, then I'm in, and I will make no apologies to myself for it.
I like that. Look, you know, you really don't have to explain yourself trading. I don't think if it's in your makeup and you've actually sat in front of the charts long enough and you've got the background to actually feel and, I don't know, experience what the market's actually telling you. I don't think you really need an excuse to go into the market. You know,
No, I agree.
If you've just started trading and you kind of go on something that really isn't, or you don't have the ability to, or the experience rather, not so much the ability, but the experience to say, okay, this market's ready to go, then absolutely you should be sticking by whatever rules that you've learned or whatever strategy you've been taught.
Yes.
But, you know, experience counts for a whole lot in trading.
Yes.
There's no two ways about that. And
Yeah.
there are definitely times where you can say to yourself, this is going and I'm getting in.
Yeah. Well, this is one of those times. This is one of those times. It's around about 5 pips above where. I mean, this is the problem. You know, I could do this all day. I could do this all day. Where and this is the issue with the FTSE, that people eventually sort of that trade this for long enough will start to recognise the FTSE. When it starts to trend, it makes it very, very difficult for people to get in. And it might be case in point right here. You know, when we look at this on a 5-minute chart, all we've got is this little reversal here. But look how it's still fighting to stay above that particular level there. Now I'm gonna put a quick fib on this as well. 38% retracement leaves me here. And I think, you know, and the 23, interestingly, is exactly where we are now. In a strong trend, 23 could well be enough for it to come back to the issue always is, you know, I don't want to pay this price, but by the same token, I don't want to miss it because of the work that I've done up to this point on this particular market. I don't want to let this one go and accept that I've potentially missed it, because as you say, yes, there will be another one, but that could take This one took 2 weeks. This one's been in the making for 2 weeks for a potential breakout, and I'm not really prepared to wait another 2 weeks before I can make some decent money on this. And these, we know when these markets go, that's where the really good money is. It's not in the ranges. It's when it sort of like really starts to trend and power home. So so I'm really keen, as I say, I'm really keen just to kind of and to be fair, if this holds for the next 2 minutes, I'm going to enter here because the proof, the way it is right now, is that this doesn't look like I'm going to get the price. But if it holds here, then I'll enter here. Maybe I'll have to come in a little bit less, just so I can enter again down here at with a little bit more money. But I'm just going to have to. I'll have to manage the money, and I suppose that's the key, isn't it? It's all well and good me calling this, but if I go in at a full 1% at this high, that would be extremely stupid. Whereas if I go in at maybe a fifth of 1%, and it comes back, I can add another fifth. If it comes back again, I can add another fifth. So I can build into my position. I would love 1% on this, but I don't think I'm going to get it. So if I can build up to being around about a third of a percent, then I'll take it. I'll happily take it.
It's a bit like my brother said to me many times, every time we seem to have a beer together, and he's, why don't you get a real job? And the thing is, what you just said, if you've got a real job and you've worked for 2 weeks, you expect to be getting paid, don't you? So
yeah,
what you're saying is, if you've worked for 2 weeks on something, you don't get paid for it, it's going to tick you off.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's what we're trying to avoid. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. This is exactly the thing.
So you've got a minute to go, or less than a minute to go, and
I've got 20 seconds. It's not really, because it's forcing me. It's forcing the issue here. It's forcing the issue. It's forcing me to make a decision that I don't really want to make, which is to get in. Do you know what? I'm just going to have to go in hyper light. I think that's the only answer. I can't justify not getting in, but I can't justify paying that price with a lot of money. So I'm going to go in hyper light. I've put the trade on, and if it comes back a little bit, I can go in again.
Would you keep that order in, or would you just scrap that one and put a different order in?
If it comes down,
yeah,
I'll leave it where it is. I'll leave it where it is. I mean, it's but because I suppose the first thing to note is that I don't put orders in. This is live.
Yeah, sorry, that's not what I meant. I see you're in the market.
Okay. Yes, I'm in, right. because and this is the thing about a fear of missing out, isn't it? Fear of missing out is one thing, but this isn't about that, because the fear of missing out would be loading in, but I'm not going to load in. I'm going to go in hyper cheap. I mean, what's this going to cost me? This is going to cost me. This is going to cost me a fifth of a percent. That's all it's going to cost, and I want it to come down. So I don't mind that that we are failing here, because what I'll do is I'll actually add a greater amount at this point, and I'll add even more down here. So I'll scale in, but slightly better prices.
Yep, fair enough.
I'm going to come in again here. There we go. Let me just check something on the short term here. Yeah, so this price is the price that I really want. So what I'll do is if it crosses again above this level, then I'll take it again.
Yep.
If not, then actually I'll be happy to take it down at this one. I think it's the other thing you see I can do is oh, this is good. This is good. So this means now what I will do sorry for the quiet, mate.
It's okay, mate. I'm quietly looking at my charts as well, thinking there may be a trade coming. But
so I've taken that again. Now with this one, I've gone in more expensive. So what I'm looking for, because I'm, you know, my belief is with this. With this, I'll take it off. If it comes back up to this price, then and it gets me at break even when it comes back up, then I'll just take it off. I'll be happy to take the trade down because I don't really want this price, and it means that it's going to be very, very hard for me to manage that at any kind of break even level.
Yep.
So I'll take that one off if it comes back here. If it comes back up to that. Now I will re-enter again, probably at this price, but let me just double check this on the hourly. Okay. So now I feel a little bit more comfortable because it's a negative bar, but it hasn't really caused any problems. And as I say, if it hops up, then I can manage it a lot better with this one, with this trade here than this trade here. So we can talk about other things actually, mate, unless you're concentrating. Are you on something else?
Mate, I'm just a little bit disappointed in one thing at the moment. I'm a bit like you, that I don't want to miss this, but what I'm seeing, the cable I'm talking about, I'll just pinch screen for a sec.
Yeah, go for it.
If I can remember how to do that. There we go. Yep. That's good. That part's good. And no, that doesn't look right. That's probably better. Have you got my screen?
Oh, do you know what? Actually, I might have to give you the screen. There you go.
I think I can see my screen. Sorry if anyone's listening. We're a little bit tech poor here in terms of.
I've given you the screen, mate. I think I may need to control things. Yeah. So when we're ready, then I'll pass things back over to you. I think that's the way it works. I'm not sure whether when you actually trigger it yourself from that screen share, whether it works. So I think I have to give you it, which I have.
Yeah, I was looking at playing a short here on cable, but it's just hasn't come down to a level I'm comfortable with, and the reason for that is, I've got a resistance area here that's been support and been support again. I don't want to trade straight into that, and what I was looking to do was trade below this little, I won't even call it a swing, but we've got a bearish bar coming down, the bullish bear going up. I wouldn't mind placing an order under here, but I would love to have seen it break this level before it did exactly what it did. So I'm actually not going to take the trade. I'll still look, however, similar to the euro, for a lower high. And, you know, the three of these crosses, the Aussie, the Euro, and the pound are all the same pretty much. We've got a definite double top here on the Aussie. And again, I'll be looking for a lower high. I'm on the 30-minute chart here, and I'll be happy to trade that short if I do get that lower high. But I haven't got it, and it doesn't look like coming anytime soon on any one of these crosses, actually. So I may have to be a little bit patient, mate, at this point in time. We're coming up to resistance again, and that's okay. But, gee, I'm a little bit disappointed I haven't found a lower high yet. It's just the way it is, and waiting's what we need to do. Haven't spoken too much about the Aussie. The Aussie,
no, yeah, and I think this. I mean, certainly from my perspective, this is quite an important conversation for me, because the Aussie certainly benefited from what seems like the sweeping aside of the trade war. It doesn't you know, it hasn't cared, has it?
I think probably we need to consider that, you know, this decision from Trump that was made yesterday, or what, about 36 hours ago or something like that, was really expected. So, you know, it was probably in the market already. And certainly from an Australian point of view, we've been seeing that. And of course, the reason that the Aussie is generally affected by a trade war, not that there's that many of them, but with China, is that as soon as China sneezes, Australia catches a cold, of course, because it's by far and away, you know, a major trading partner. And any sign of trouble there in China is very, very detrimental in general terms to the Australian dollar. So as you say, when this news came out yesterday, certainly the Aussie was on its way down, but it rebounded very, very quickly. As you can see here, candle started out to be a bearish one, and quickly regained momentum and shot through again. I don't get it, to be fair, but that said, exactly what I'm looking to trade on the Aussie, the Euro, and the pound on smaller time frames today is exactly this, where I've got a bottom, I've got a reversal pattern, and a higher low. This is what I was looking for on the smaller time frames, as I said, on the other upside down versions, if you like. So the Aussie here is still the same for me. I'm trying, I suppose, to trade retracement, but it doesn't look like shutting down. It's just powering on through. And I guess a reversal bar here, if it does come, is really not what I'm looking for. I was looking for a candle that actually hit that level and stopped on that level, and it hasn't really done that. That's not to say, of course, that if I do get a reversal bar here, it's going to be detrimental, because if I go back to the 4-hour candle, 4-hour chart, I can still put in that lower high and give that daily bar that we just looked at a definite high test bar look about it, which is entirely possible. But I note that this candle on the 4-hour chart has closed above this. I mean, it's very clear, the level's clear where we've broken, and the 4-hour candle is closed above it. So it's not really playing my game, I've got to say. Now I'm probably looking for a retest of that line now that it's been broken, and maybe nothing more. So it's not playing my game, unfortunately. That said, we do have that inverted head and shoulders here, and I guess if you want to play that game, that's what's happened. There's the neckline that's been broken with this candle decisively.
Oh yeah, that's a clean one, isn't it? Oh yeah, we discussed this inverted head and shoulders in the past, haven't we?
Yep. So, you know, a candle that closes on or about this neckline gets me interested in the opposite direction. So, as I said before, we're seeing different signals on different charts, and if I'm looking to trade this now, I'm thinking retest here, rather than lower high. Now that we've got the break of both the neckline and this strong resistance level, which has been support here, resistance here, and resistance in the past as well. So I'm kind of changing a little bit of polarity on the Aussie and no longer looking, I don't believe, for that higher low on the 30-minute chart because of what I've just seen on the bigger time frames. Yeah. Yes, we could definitely retrace down to here. There's no question. And if that sets up, maybe I can put a little bit in the market on that occurring. But this is now looking rather bullish.
Yeah.
That's the Aussie.
Yeah.
Cable is looking to break the highs, make new highs as well. And the
cable's also fascinating one. Do you know the thing about cable, and we haven't discussed yet today, is the news and the data. Is it tomorrow we got CPI?
With all this tech whiz bang stuff that we've been doing all day, I really haven't taken a great look. Where are we up to? It's not. No, it's today.
Today is CPI
in 52 minutes from now.
Okay, well that's interesting, isn't it? Because that actually could change many things to with both this FTSE and cable.
Oh, most definitely. That's I guess we're getting a preemptive move at the moment from the market where we've come off this level here and we've shot through, and we are testing those highs now. We're really nothing much. It's only about 28 pips, but the intent is there, isn't there? You can see the intent is to take this high out, and I would say that's a preemptive move. This may well break out before the news. May well. It'll go without me, of course, from that level. I don't trade it at resistance long, that's for sure. But we'll see. Well, of course, this has been on a tear in the last months. And again has broken resistance and it really looks strong. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, it's been crazy, isn't it?
I mean, that candle on Monday was big. It seems every second day we're getting a big move on this cross, and I guess due a deep retracement, but it's powering on. Really is powering on.
Yeah.
Sorry, how's your trade going, mate?
Trade's coming back, but that's okay because as I said before, I've got. Let me show you what's going on here. I'm trying to take as many opportunities to get into this long as possible. So my trade was here. It's here. I'm looking to maybe get in here as well. I'm just waiting for a potential, a clearer signal. It's possible. Let me show you something else. It's possible that it could dip a little bit lower. So I'm just being a little bit patient. I think waiting until maybe the next 5 minutes might be wise here. This is the other level here. Another little trend line along there. So it might.
Mate, can you actually tell which screen is sharing at the moment?
Yes.
And it is you.
Okay, yes. Cool. Yes. Yeah.
Because it's telling me the prompter, whatever it's called, is telling me that I need to stop sharing. But if I don't, then happy days.
No, I don't think you do. I think I can control that. I think the thing with the I can go along and effectively select it. So I think with the screen share, I can kind of like I can go along and select which screen is sharing. So I think I can see it. Pretty sure I can see what's going on. But I don't know whether you've got YouTube on as well. But I've got YouTube on another screen just to check it out. But when I go to YouTube, then I can see. But there's just a little delay.
Mate, as long as it's doing what it needs to do, then happy days.
Yeah, we're all there. We're all there, definitely. Now, what's going to happen here? I don't know whether I should. build in here again. I probably need to wait for a bar actually. Yeah, so really what I'm waiting for now is I'd like to get in again, but I now want to see just some signs and signals that this is another area. Obviously, we've got the 61% retracement here. There is the trend line as well along here, which it could come down just a little bit lower to. But I'd like to get back in here. But the problem right now is that I don't really have clear signs and signals this is holding. This is forming, which is good, which means that there is obviously interest here. And I think if this forms, then I'll re-enter at the top of that bar as well, just in case it drifts again just to the downside a little bit. And as we go up, I'll probably be taking this. Well, I'm not sure if I'll take that one off, but I'll certainly be taking this one off. And I'll let that one just see if I can run that one into the highs and maybe take the profit, and then I can shove stops right to break even, just so it makes it a profitable day. If this is too big a bar, I won't enter. But if this does end up like quite a nice bar to enter on, then I'll give this one another blast as well and see if I can enter down here. But when they get so close together, it becomes a little bit pointless. Entering again here.
Yep.
So I'd like to get this area just because it looks like it could potentially be the low. But this bar's. Yeah, it's a problem, isn't it? The thing with these bars, the way that I tend to judge them is if they go into a piercing pattern instead of, or even an engulfing bar, instead of something that there's either a hammer or a spinning top, then I just tend to see if it'll come back just a little bit into the body of the bar. So if this ends up as a piercing pattern, then I'll see if it'll come back one more time. If it ends up as a hammer, then I can take it, but this body is looking a little bit big at this moment. It's got to come back just a shade, but this is better. This is better. So I'll give it another few seconds here.
Okay, I won't interrupt you. I was going to ask you a question, but I'll wait till you make that call.
I'm just going to trigger this in. There we go. So I've re-entered again. Yeah, go for it. What was the question?
Okay, so with the CPI figures coming up in, 45 minutes from now, will that affect you at all?
Yes. Yes, I mean it may well affect this trade. I mean it might end up that this trade is an absolute pony because of it. So yeah, CPI could have a huge effect. But what I'd like to see from this point is just see if we can kind of like get back up to this high before that data comes out, because then what I can do is if I've managed to pick the low down here, then I can shove stops under this bar probably, but I can take these two out at just a little bit of profit, and then I can let the other one run. But if CPI comes out, if this doesn't move before CPI, then this whole thing could be kind of problematic, and then I start again effectively.
I guess there'd be one benefit in that: you get your right price in the end of the day.
Yeah, and this is the thing, I kind of haven't got what I needed from the trade as yet, but things look good. I mean, I've had to enter at prices that I really didn't want to enter because I know I know how the FTSE goes, and as I say, when it goes, it tends to just tends to leave you behind. So I don't really want to miss out. But the thing is, I haven't really gone in heavy on anything here. So if this one comes and takes me out, it's not going to cost a whole bunch. This one's going to cost a bit more. That one's probably going to cost the same as the first one because it's hyper light. But if it comes back down, if it continues to come back down, takes this area out, I can close it all down and just go in at a greater trade, a greater financial risk, if you like. I can go in at 1% down at that point. So if it does start to float back to the upside, then it'll make up for all the losses on the way down. But if it can pick up here, then I can just start scaling these other ones out. As soon as they kind of hit some profit, I can scale these other ones out, and then see how we get on from that point instead.
What else is likely to move this thing, mate? At the moment, why do we think there's going to be that big move? Obviously, we've come out of that consolidation. Well, at this point, we have anyway come out of that
Yeah,
range,
yeah,
and that tends to wind the market up, of course, for a big throw in a direction.
yeah.
Is there anything else? Anything else driving it?
Well, I think you know, if I sort of like look at barometers of the market, and I have to fix this screen a little bit because I've brought on my trade views. Yeah, if I look at barometers for this market, this was you know, as currencies go, this one is a really good one. You know, the Aussie is a really good barometer because, and I've just got to look at the overall movements here. That if we start to get reversals at this point, then obviously there's going to be problems. But if I think about this as a barometer, if this can hold this inverted head and shoulders, and we actually get a genuine breakout at this point, this is a good barometer because this is normally or oftentimes, maybe not normally, but oftentimes it's driven by the popularity of trade with China. So if there's a good trading going on with China, and Australia are managing to continue to sell their copper and other things that suggest construction, then that will affect the FTSE because it will give the FTSE, because the FTSE is so international, it will give the FTSE the feel of something which is you know, where business is going to do pretty well. So I think about that as a barometer. I also think about China, and you know, just because this was the stock market that closed just before the FTSE closed. So when I think about China, China's stock market has also been breaking to the upside, you know, day over day. So those two aspects would be a couple of barometers that I'd look at. And then I would also look at the technicals on a longer term charts, as I said before, with the FTSE. And it's got to be down to this weekly chart. You know, this weekly chart just looks to me like we've got some bottoming out. Now, it's possible that it comes down a little further, but when I look at this, this is the you know, the actual thing that that is of importance, and that suggests that that area, you know, has had a bounce. Now, whether this monthly turns into some sort of spinning top or not, I don't know. But what I'm really looking for is for this monthly to at least attempt to get back up to the breakout low, which is going to be at 74.04. So it's around about 80 to 90 pips away from where we are now. So if I consider all those factors, I consider China, I consider the Aussie, I consider the weekly chart, I consider the primary trend, which is going to the upside, and how this is holding. That is all building for me to kind of have the opinion that the FTSE has some has a good chance to start to move to the upside. So that's really the evidence that builds for me.
Well, that sounds to be enough for me. I actually don't take that much consideration into the currencies that I trade. Obviously, the majors, but of course, I guess there's far more relevance in a lot of other things for currency like the Aussie in particular, because we're looking at commodity prices, we're looking at China, we're looking at the States. We're looking at a whole bunch of things,
Yeah.
And I guess they're easy to see rather
Yeah.
than you know you dive a little bit more into the fundamentals side of things. I guess I'm more market sentiment than fundamentals.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and the market sentiment is obviously very, very key. Because you know, ultimately that really will be the driver, won't it? You know, you need to know how people are feeling about the market. You need to kind of get a sense about how people are thinking about the market. So I think market sentiment is a you know, that's going to play a huge part.
Can be a little tricky on the shorter term, of course, because market sentiment and smaller timeframes don't necessarily correlate. In fact, oftentimes that won't be the case because you're looking, the market's looking for retracement before it gets into a trend, if you like, or into a momentum play, which is generally driven by market sentiment. So it can be a little tricky if you're trying to.
You just reading that message. Are you there, Jeff? Oh, we've lost you. I've lost you, Jeff. So with Jeff going, I am still interested in this FTSE. I'm not too concerned just yet that this is at a pretty heavy move back to the downside. I'm not too concerned. The hourly bar is a little concerning because it's attempted to get up and it's not really made it, but it's still the trend is still moving to the upside. We can see that there's a trend line along here as well, which is still absolutely fine. So I don't mind sticking with this one and seeing how we go. I'd like to tuck my stops in a decent level at some point, but I'm quite happy to see if this closes down here before I make too many choices on this.
I'm back.
Oh, you're back. You're back. What was that about?
I have no idea, mate.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely no idea. Just
all right.
Said, well, hang on, you're talking too much. Get out of here. Kick me out.
Well, at least you're here.
It's like I was when I was a kid in school. If I started mucking up, the teacher used to say, "Get out, Pine." And of course,
that's what it was.
That was once or twice a week.
Well, I was just saying about the FTSE pushing to the downside out at this stage, even with this spinning top. I'm not too concerned about it. That CPI data is a little bit problematic for me because the initial sentiment of this market was looking like it was going to take on the baton from China, but as time goes on, then obviously market factors that relate specifically to the UK market then can start to take form, and certainly one of those things will be the CPI. Now Paul's asking how he can log in, so let's see if I can give him. Okay, he's asking if we'll keep going just for a little while.
Sure. Well, I haven't had a trade yet, so looking for, and I don't think I'm going to have one in the next 5 minutes either, unfortunately.
No, it's not really. Not really. Well, do you want to whip the screen for a little while? I've got maybe something I might need to manage. So let me just.
No problem.
Let me give you that.
Share. Yeah.
And let's talk about. Let's talk about why we got no trades just right now.
Well, one reason here is I haven't met my criteria for a trade, and the criteria for a trade for me on the euro today is a lower high. And currently the market's giving me higher highs, and that's of course not going to help me get into the market. But for every one of these that goes higher that doesn't take out this high, it's giving me a better price. So I'm not concerned at all about that. That's very cool.
So you want a lower high on the 30-minute chart, and that lower high would encourage you to go short. So really, you're looking for a short on the euro at some point.
Yes, I am. But it's got to come off these tops. So if there's a new high created, the whole shebang starts again. So I've got to then wait for a double top or big inverted hammer, something like that gives me an indication that the market is likely to turn around.
Yeah.
And at this point in time, that's simply not there. Of course, my preference is to trade it on a bigger time frame, and that's well and good. But I also like to trade intraday 30-minute charts. So I've got to wait for the 4-hour chart a lot longer than I do for the 30-minute chart.
Yeah.
Fait accompli, of course. That's just the way it works.
Yeah.
Because whilst ever I've got these tops in place, I'm always going to be looking for a lower high. And as soon as I get that lower high, as long as the candle's good and as long as the level's good, then there's probably a little trade in there for me.
Yeah.
I like to see things like all of these ducks lined up in a row, and that gives me a second opportunity. So that's something that I would call it a tradable line.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't get the lower high, but I do get interaction here that convinces me that there's a short on, then I can take that as well, as long as the high isn't taken out. That's of course going to change everything. If these highs are taken out, then, you know, as I said, we start the ball rolling again. But whilst ever I'm still below these highs, and it's getting to the point where I'm not, because these highs may not be the tails, they may be the bodies, and that looks very much like it's the case. So I'm getting very, very close to that now. So a lower high here now is good, most definitely, and on any time frame really.
So if you get that lower high,
yep.
Would it be a problem that you are close to that lower trend line? I mean, would you use that lower trend line as a potential take profit area?
I'd definitely do that. There's no question. I wouldn't trade through it. And, you know, I don't think that's ever a wise thing to do unless you've got profit in the bank. And most definitely I'd be scaling out in some degree before I got to that level. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Look, on the first lower high, I probably wouldn't load up either, similar to what you're doing. I'd give it a chance. And if I get a second lower high, then that's the one I'd load up on.
Right.
But the first lower high is definitely tradable for me. But yes, lower risk than if it were the second opportunity. I think they're the best, the ones that come later.
Yeah.
But there's always room for profit down here before that happens as well. So I'm more than happy to take that and just take a very early take profit, you know, bank early.
Yeah.
And really leave not a whole lot on the table, maybe half the risk that I've taken. And then if I do get, and generally you're going to get that. You're going to get that second opportunity. And that's where I'll load up if that becomes the case.
Yeah. Yeah.
So well, at least we haven't pierced that line. So sorry, mate, you go.
Well, I was going to say we're sort of we're now at 9 o'clock. I don't know whether we've got PB in the room. Shall I quickly send him a message? Let's quickly do that.
I'm not sure if you want to come in.
There we go. Right, I'll tell you what we should do then. Let's have a quick look at Forex Factory in a bit more detail. Okay.
Can you do that? Because
I don't know how.
It's probably the same one you gave me, is it? I don't know.
Yes, so it should be. Let me see. Let's see what I got here. Where was that link? Here we go. Let's try this.
Pound couldn't get through that high, by the way, at the moment. So with 28 minutes to go, it looks like it's just going to hold there.
Hold on, is that going to work? Oh yeah. It's going to hold. Yeah. Well, no major surprise, is it? I mean, why would it break out before CPI data? You know,
Unless somebody has seen the figures, then yes, why would it?
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of unusual, isn't it? You know, for it to go without question on that front.
Oh, look, I've seen it happen in the past. There's no
Yeah.
two ways about that. And it's at that time you do start to suspect that somebody has had a sneak peek.
Yeah. I suppose it's one of those things as well, isn't it? That that if you have a specific way to trade that stuff, you've got to stick to it. You know, whether it's that you want to see the data first and then you trade, or whether it's that you're happy to trade into it. That's fine. It doesn't really matter which one it is. I think it's just important that you kind of pick which opportunity that you're going to kind of name as your strategy, and then take it on. So it's not really a problem that it's before or after. I don't think. It's just you've got to stick to something.
Oh, look, absolutely, and there's good money to be made doing that. You know, if you can get in the market before the news and hang in there, especially if you've got a little bit of profit in the bank, then you know you can have a very, very nice ride on the back of that. There's no question about that. You know, we've tried over the years to work on that. It's not an easy thing to do without question. It's a tough assignment.
Yeah.
But it's certainly worth pursuing, because if you can get in and be safe in the market at that time, then definitely you've got a very, very strong chance of picking up some good bucks.
Yeah. So Paul, you in with us? I think PB's in the room.
Yeah. I'm not sure I can see that, but maybe I can.
Maybe it's just that he's viewing. I wonder if you can have.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure how that works, but yeah, maybe it's just that he's viewing. So we are going to be going at 6:30. So we've got 2.5 hours, and we're going to be, I guess, giving a little bit of an update on what we were waiting for, what we were trading in a couple of hours for anybody that is listening and interested at that time.
Yeah.
So
and I guess we probably should summarize our positions right now as well.
Yeah.
Nothing's really changed for me. Are we sharing your screen, aren't we? So do you want to do that first, and then I'll wrap it myself?
Sure. So waiting for CPI data from the pound. I've got some light entries in the FTSE 100, and I'll continue to enter as we go. So I've got some light entries in the FTSE 100. I'm looking for a breakout. I'm looking for this weekly chart really to kind of pick up here and get to around about the 7,400 level. It's going to be somewhere between 7,400 and 7,420, I guess. So yeah, that's the idea with the FTSE. Got to wait for that CPI data to come out to kind of be really confident that that this is gonna work out here. But if not, I still fancy the FTSE at some point this week. It's only Wednesday, so if it's not today, then maybe we try again tomorrow. But I'm going to be confident enough that I want to keep buying this as we go, and that is exactly what I will do. But yeah, let's pass it back to you, mate, and I'll give you an update when I speak to you at 6:30. You along with everybody else, I'll give you an update of how things are going.
Happy days. Share.
No, I'm not sure how. Okay, let me just reply.
Okay, so you still can't see my screen. Now you can, probably.
I can see the screen, yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so from my point of view, I'm still waiting on a couple of things to happen, but I'm going to go to the Aussie first. And the Aussie has kind of changed my polarity or way of thinking just a little bit. Not so much that I'm looking for a long here. I'm still looking for a short, but it'll only be a very small play. And the play will come with again, a lower high. And at this point, I don't see that. So what I'd like to see is price get back below this level, if you like, which is 72.36-ish. And that's that strong support and resistance area I was talking about. So if it gets back below there and then gives me the lower high, I will be looking to trade it short, but only down to here, really. I'm not going to trade it too far. It's probably something that I'm willing to let go now if it gets too close to this line that I spoke of before. So the reason I've changed polarity here is because this line here is the neckline to an inverted head and shoulders right there, as you can see. And we've smashed that. We've smashed through it. But not only have we smashed through that, we've closed above this support and resistance area that has got a lot of recency about it. So I'm very much of the opinion now the Aussie can go longer.
Can I just ask you something on that?
Sure.
That close is it's not a huge close above. So, you know, when you consider the close above, is it enough for you to have a few pips, or are you looking for something a bit more substantial? As you say, when we broke through that inverted head and shoulder, the inverted head and shoulders neckline, it's a substantial close above. That's sending a clear message. Whereas the close above that horizontal level, when I see that, it doesn't look to me like there's really true decision being made just yet. How do you see that?
Yeah, look, I know exactly what you're saying, but if I go a little bit wider, you can see that the level is exact. It's not a cloud of a price at all. It's an actual level, and I'll give it a figure. It's the low of that candle, which is 72.377, and the high of this candle, which is 72. Sorry, I've just lost it. 72.355. What was that level? 72.37. So there's less than 2 pips in it. That's what I'm saying. And it's definitely broken that level. If I go a little bit thinner, maybe that becomes a little bit more what you're talking about. But it's still not a massive break. I agree with that. But it's such a defined level, and the market has chosen to close above it, that I think it is significant. And when you combine it with the way or the fact that it has smashed through that neckline, then I most definitely see that as a bullish signal. This candle, I would love to see pull back to retest the neckline. Then I'd be looking for the long off that. If I've got a nice candle off that, I'll be looking for that long, most definitely.
Yeah.
So is it as significant as the neckline? Look, I think combined it is. I actually do, because it is an exact level.
Yeah.
And they were willing to close above it. So that combined with the break of the neckline, I think is very, very much a strong point in the favor of the bulls.
So ultimately, you're looking for this one to come back, so you can try and actually get a trade to the long side.
Yes, definitely. Now I wasn't before, but I am now. Whilst ever that level held, I was looking to play it short, and maybe even down to here. But I'm no longer looking for that. I'll still look to play it short on a smaller time frame if I've got enough room for profit. Yeah. But I want to be scaled out big time by here, definitely. I'll still give it an opportunity to go to here, but I'll definitely want to be scaled out big time. But I can't trade this short now until I do get that lower high.
Right.
So that's where I'm at on the Aussie. Cable's going to be dependent a whole lot now on this news that's upcoming in 18 minutes' time. Again, I'm looking for exactly the same thing. I'm looking for a lower high here, and I do favour reversal here on the pound. And the reason I favour reversal here on the pound is because of the very strong moves that we've had without decent retracement. we've been going. This one went, first rally went 265, second rally went 250, then pull back. This one's gone 400 without a retracement. So that's why I'm looking for this to reverse at the moment and get a decent retracement out of it. What that looks like in terms of level, you can probably pull a fibbo on it if you like, but I like that level right there where we've had resistance, we've had support, and resistance in the last rally, actually. So I'd be looking for that level to be retested. And that's where I'm focused on the pound. But this will rely a whole lot on what's about to happen with the CPI figure. The CPI figure doesn't move it too much, then that lower high looks really, really nice for me. And there's a nice reward on offer down here.
Yeah,
there's 110 pips. If I can get a small risk on this, then I'd be more than happy to take that.
Yeah,
so that's
and it's due to pull back, isn't it? I mean, when we kind of look at the pound, it is due a kind of a correction of some sort. You know, we've still got a little ways off from the EU negotiation, and there's there's just so many more hurdles that really that particular negotiation needs to cross before we can be certain, or that it's going to make it. So I think I would be on the same side as you, that I think the pound is due some sort of pullback, but it's surprising at the minute. Actually, the numbers and the data seem to confound a lot of the economists out there. So we'll have to see what happens. But I really like the pound for some downside.
Yeah, I'm looking for a deep retracement. Well, when I say deep, to this level here, I really like this level, and if I can find the reason to get that short in, then happy days. And of course, finally, the euro. I don't like the fact that it's closing above this level, but it hasn't closed above this level yet. But if it does give me this lower high here without taking out these highs, and in particular, as I said, if we're looking at the 4-hour chart, that line I've drawn on my chart here is the closes of these candles. So that's why I don't want it to close above here. If it does, I'm a whole lot less confident of going short than I was before. But again, similar to cable, I suppose, if I do find that lower high, in particular, if this candle, the 4-hour bar, doesn't close above this level, and I find this lower high, maybe even here where we are, scale out at the trade line and look for a short, probably about here somewhere. That looks to be a nice exit point. So back down to 116.20. I think that'd be a nice trade if it does set up today. So everything's similar, mate, except the Aussie I have changed polarity on. I'm looking for a small retracement, and off it goes again.
Right. So okay, mate. Who was that? Was that somebody in the room?
I didn't hear anything.
No. Okay. It's a voice in my head. It's all right.
Wednesday.
I know. Yeah, it's Wednesday and it started already. So do you know, I always use the word like change of polarity with charts, and I get picked up on it. So I'm mindful how much I use it. I use it in very specific circumstances. But now you're starting to use
the damn thing from. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's a charting term. You know, it's a candlestick term. It's something that I learned, and I really like it. I think it kind of works for the purpose. But now you're using it, then he keeps asking me for the link. I don't get it.
I'm working on a new word as we speak. I'm working on a new word for polarity. It's gone. It's out of my repertoire. Vocabulary, that's the word I was looking for.
Oh yeah.
So obviously PB can hear us, but he's unable to do anything about it, I guess.
Yeah.
And I have no idea how to share a link. No idea.
Well, I've sent the link, and it's the only one I've got. So I'm not sure why it's not working.
Is that the same one you sent me?
Yes.
Yep.
I need that one.
Okay, maybe I can send it to him. If I can find it.
Yeah, you try.
So I didn't realise that was the link that that you wanted, Paul. Goodness me, something's happened there.
Well,
okay, I don't know if this is the same link, but there you go. Well, that euro is going to test these highs and ruin my plans.
well, as long as you're not in the trade, mate, it doesn't matter, does it?
No, except I don't want to miss out. Like yesterday was a pain in the backside because I was waiting for the short and waiting for the short and waiting for the short. I got in this show yesterday, as you know, but only got a break even. And then finally, when I'm like unconscious and laying horizontal, feet same level as my head, away it goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than kind of having trades that you want to get in and missing out on them. That's the kind of psychology.
Hazard, mate.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? And I think that's probably the right way to put it as well. It is an occupational hazard. It can make trading really tricky.
As you say, as long as you're not on the wrong side of that, it's not the worst thing in the world, because the good part is you're actually seeing it. If you're unable to trade it, then that's just the way it is.
Yeah,
it's not rocket science at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If you can't get in, you can't get in.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got a few seconds left before we get a few minutes, 10 minutes before CPI data is due out. Not really seeing too much in the way of movement with the FTSE now.
We've got Draghi speaking as well later.
Well, that's going to help.
Yeah. What's he doing? I don't know who he's talking to. I've just lost everything.
I'm going to find out myself.
Well, who's he addressing? He's the future of economic policy in the euro area. That could be interesting.
Let's have a look at that. ECB due to speak about the future economic policy. Oh, okay. So he's probably going to talk about tapering, you think?
Yeah, look, I don't know that it'll move the market too much if it depends on how far in the future.
Oh, yeah, you're there, mate. He's probably going to talk about tapering, you think? I'm getting a little bit of return from my voice. Oh, yeah, you're there, mate.
So it appears that do I need to
a little bit of return from my voice.
Look, I think. Hang on a second, guys. I'll just get a headset in. Do I need to?
Yeah, you need to listen to the Hangout, not the YouTube, I think.
Okay.
There we go.
Or vice versa.
That seems to have worked.
So I need to mute the YouTube?
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, because we're a bit behind on that as well. By about 10 seconds.
I've put
I think that's a 15-second delay just in case Ash swears.
Yeah. The only thing is we haven't got any idea of how we're going to
I've logged out of the YouTube. I presume I can log back into it later, guys. I don't need to be on the YouTube while I'm in here with you. So this is the presenting area, guys, I take it.
Yeah. It's cool. It's really good.
It's exciting times, isn't it? It's really nice to be on YouTube. We've got half a dozen of the guys coming. I put a post in the forum. Half a dozen of the guys have popped in to have a look at your show, so I don't take too long. I like to give them some value. This is part of Transition Fortnight, people. This is the new show. We're spending a couple of weeks transitioning over to the technology. It does appear as if we've, dare I say it, after 3 months, I think we have mastered the technology. Thank you, James, for your help today.
Yeah.
Looks to me like we might be ready to go.
Yeah, Yeah, James has done a sterling job as always, and yeah, I think we may well be ready to go. It seems to be working so far, and we're able to share each other's screens, you know, which is really good. So I don't know, and I don't know how many more people we can get in. I think up to 8. So we could even have guests. Yeah, we could have Can we have guests?
You mean presenters? Yeah, look, you can have. Look, Ash, I really enjoyed my show last night when you guys came in and Julian came in, and you know, just had different people come in and talk about stuff. I thought it was neat. I think guests is a great idea, Ash.
Well, no, but could we have like public guests?
Look, you have to get them out of the YouTube channel, and I think we're a bit small for Draghi at this point. You've got to have goals. You've got to have goals.
We could pinch him for 5 minutes before he speaks tonight, surely.
Look, I've just I can toggle and I can see Jeff's screen and Ash's screen. When I do that, do I change it for the watchers or only for me?
At the minute,
Jeff's screen.
Don't know.
No, it doesn't look like it. I think I'm the only one who can actually change it. I've got Jeff's screen on right now, and it still hasn't changed. So it doesn't look like it now. I think maybe that's just for you.
Whose screen's on now?
Yours is on now.
Is it? Because when I toggle between you and me, nothing happens. I can see your screen, but obviously it doesn't. Yeah.
So I think because I'm the moderator for this particular one, I've got the power to give you the screen. I can give you the screen over, and I think that's the way it works. Whoever goes in as a moderator gets the power to toggle between the screens.
Guys, how much longer are you on today?
We're just about to. We would be due to close at 9, so we were just hanging out for you.
Mate, look, I really appreciate it. We've put a post up on the Facebook on the PBT trading forum.
Yeah.
There's a few guys in the room, so you've been talking about some stuff. Can I ask you guys to finish with 5 minutes of trading stuff, as opposed to too much chat with me? I'll jump out of the Hangout and I'll jump back into the webinar and listen to you guys in there. Guys, I am absolutely thrilled. We have a product. We can do some more practice. You guys are on Monday to Thursday, aren't you?
Monday to Thursday, yeah.
Send me some details. I'll post it into the forum, and we're ready to go, and we'll start doing some promotion on it next week. Okay?
Great stuff, mate. All right, buddy. Have a good one. We'll speak to you later on.
And you guys. Cheers. See you later.
Happy days.
Okay. Well, I suppose we could do our final thing one more time. I'll just whip
recap again. Okay.
Little recap.
Yeah, for the guys who've just joined us, mate. I can't see who's in the room. Can you see who's in the room?
I can't see who. I can just see how many.
Okay. I can't even see that.
Let me see. No, unfortunately, I can't. And this is the last thing I think for us to fix. Is we need to be able to see people's questions and the like. So when we get that part of it done, then I think we'll be in really good shape.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
So are you doing your little wrap?
Yeah. So just a final little wrap up. So effectively, I'm looking for FTSE 100 longs. This is the weekly chart. I've entered some trades here, so I'm looking for this to get up, and I'm looking for it to get up around about the 74.10, 74 between 7400 and 7420 level. From what I can see, there is a level maybe along. No, that won't work. So yeah, but it's somewhere around about that. So looking for a long in the FTSE 100. These are daily and weekly charts. So you know this bar doesn't look very good right now, but I'm looking for a move to the upside. 3.5 minutes time, we have CPI data from the UK. That is going to very likely form some stress for this, and it might be that we spring forward. It might be that we spring to the downside. But my belief is that as long as that number isn't hugely significant, we're just having a little bit of a rest, and after that rest is completed, I think we start to move in the right direction. So that would be the wrap up, and I'm going to come back in 2 hours to give you a little update on that on TTR. So let me pass over to you, Jeff.
Cheers, mate. As you can see when you get to my screen, which is showing cable and the 4-hour chart, we're in a holding pattern here looking for that news to actually take place. And
Hold on one
we
second,
have-
mate. Now, I've given
Yep.
you the screen, but I haven't got your screen.
I see. Okay. Share.
So you maybe have to
now?
do both.
Yeah, interesting. All right. So we're in this little conglomeration of indecisive bars, aka a consolidation pattern, and we don't seem to be able to break out of that. And no surprise there, given that we've got this CPI news coming up very, very soon. In fact,
And this is the pound dollar.
Yep.
Could you make your screen just a little bit bigger for that area?
Sure.
Great.
How's that?
Perfect.
Okay. So a lot is going to depend on this news, without doubt. It's a major news announcement. So if it doesn't move the market too much, or even if it does move me slightly down here, I'd be more than happy. There's a few things to look at, and they're all pretty much short-term bearish for me. I wish I had a pen. There's no pen available. But anyway, what I'm looking for here is maybe even for this to be a head, and I haven't really considered that before. We've definitely got a shoulder sitting here on the left side. This is like Bart Simpson's haircut, but it may well be his head. And if we do get some downside here, then this looks to be a reasonable target for me in this area here, around about the 130.45 mark. To trade that for me, I would need to see price probably get below here and give me a nice little lower high. I'd like to see it get below here first. If it gives me a lower high up the top here, won't be that great, but may even be tradable on a smaller time frame. But so I'm looking for price to get back below here and put in that lower high, then I'll look to trade it short. So that can happen on a 4-hour chart, happen on a 1-hour chart, happen on a 30-minute chart. I'll be looking to do that if it comes. The Aussie was interesting to me today as well. I was looking for pretty much the same thing in a lower high and trade back, but only to this level here. I'll show you what that level means to me.
You want to watch the pound as well, mate? It's 20 seconds away. I don't know whether we're going to get some fireworks. Okay. I love watching charts when we get some data.
Well, let's go there now, and we'll have a look at that. It'll look even better on a smaller time frame.
Let's get it on a small time frame. Perfect.
There we go. We're on the 30. So there's your answer. The news is out, and the CPI figure has been posted, and it can't be too dusty by the look of that.
Wow.
But it has pulled back quickly. So it's reached the figure. It's pulled back off the figure 132. And the market will now decide whether 132 is a ceiling or otherwise. If it's not, look out. This will go.
Do we know what the number is?
No, I don't have a screen available to me at the moment to look at that.
Let's have a look. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, so if 132 goes here, look out. This could go anywhere.
2.7, yeah, that's a decent climb, and then we're looking at 2.4%. So that's a decent climb. That's putting a lot of pressure on that FTSE, which is probably going to have to be weighted on.
Okay, so you'll be looking to manage that. We'll learn more about that in the
so we'll come back in a couple of hours and
we'll
come to this.
Okay.
All right, well, let's wrap up.
Yep, that's put me on hold. I'll still need price to get back below here. That looks unlikely at this point. And finally, the euro. Exactly the same applies here. I would like to see this not close, this 4-hour candle not close above that 117.05 mark. Again, we're at a whole number, 117. If this breaks, then my plans are probably going to be on hold for a while. So still looking for a lower high here, but I'd like to see it below this 117.05 level. Then I'll look to trade it short. That's me too, mate.
All right, buddy. All right. Well, let's get back to you, and then we will continue later on in a couple of hours.
Okay, Paul was saying we're not seeing my screen. We might have to fix that tomorrow.
Oh, that was earlier. We saw it.
Oh, okay, that was fixed. Okay. Right,
Okay,
that's in
mate.
a couple of hours, mate.
All right, buddy. All right. See you to everyone else. Thanks for listening. Speak to you in a little while.